Welcome back, everyone, to this riveting Best of 5 series. We're in game number 3 here between Fnatic Sen and OGS MC. This time we're on Xel'Naga Caverns, and yes, we are tied up 1-1 right now. Game number trace. And it's been pretty exciting thus far. Last game was intense. I'm going to say like I think it was like 4 or 5 minutes. It was a pretty lengthy battle. It was just one constant back and forth battle with Sen eventually prevailing because he was holding on to that high yield expansion that proved to be very, very beneficial for him, and it certainly helped him win that last big engagement. Certainly no doubt about that. MC will be starting off with 1 base, maybe going for 1 gate or 3 gate expand, as seems pretty standard here on this map, Xel'Naga. I have seen Forge Fast expands here before, but as mentioned in any of these maps that have a very large surface area to cover, it doesn't make a lot of sense. 3 gate expands make a lot more sense. I don't know why I keep talking about those. It's an awesome build, that's why. So we can see right now MC will be starting the game out with his patented probe harass that can be so frustrating to deal with, and we will of course see how Sen is able to handle it. Now, one thing that he does want to do, let me say right now, like for example, if the probe manages to meander over here, then you grab a drone and you run right down to your expansion, because what you need to do is you just need to get there before the probe is there, and this will allow you, or even like hiding one over here, so as the probe moves in this direction, then you sneak on the drone, and then you can drop your expansion. But no, going a little bit of an easier route and starting off the 1 base play. Also, it is a smaller map relatively, and so quick expanding is a little more dangerous given that fact. You know, with a smaller map, the early game aggressive pushes become a little bit more scary. So we can see dropping the extractor right now, and he does of course have that pool coming on through. Back over here for MC, everything looking nice and standard just now. Getting that assimilator saturated, and yeah, the probe harassment continuing, but actually he is heading back. Okay, never mind. I was gonna say I'm a little surprised to see he was heading back home. We'll be seeing that pool pop, and then should be leaving shortly thereafter and realizing that the Zerglings are coming on through. Looks like he will make 1 more pass through the mineral line. You may ask yourself, why is Sen not pulling his guys off the line to kill the probe? Well, you know, that's actually bad, because when you pull your guys off the line, you know, if you grab 4 or 5 and like, oh, attack that probe, that's a lot of time not mining. Okay, it's not a lot of time, but it relatively speaking, it's a lot of time. In a game like StarCraft, even a few seconds of not mining with 4 or 5 drones early game, that's pretty devastating. And you're going to say, well, he's going to lose the probe, so doesn't he lose out too? Yeah, I think the bigger loss, especially in the early stage, will be you losing that mining time, because if you see an early push, then you will be behind, at least temporarily. Cybernex Core almost finished over here for MC. We do have that assimilator coming out. Looks like the Overlord will be moving on in. I do expect him to try to tuck away over in this position, because we should be seeing a sentry and or stalker come through in just 1 moment here. So Sen, seeing that Cybercore, is like, hey, time to vacate the premise, and we will be seeing a sentry to start out with. We do have 2 zealots already in play, 3 zealots in fact. Wow, so a 3 zealot push over here, and this could actually be pretty devastating. These 3 zealots can do quite a bit of damage. If nothing else, you know what's going to happen here. Sen will be forced to build a lot of Zerglings. So we can see 8 Zerglings coming out, realizing that it's a relatively strong early little bit of aggression here from MC. Could do quite a bit of damage if he doesn't have enough Lings. So this is good for MC in the sense that right now Sen is not droning up, and look at that, 10 Zerglings. He does need to make sure that he has just enough. He doesn't want to overdo it, but he does need to make sure that he has enough, because the worst thing in the world would be building a ton of Zerglings and having just these 3 Zealots tear through them. So the Zealots need to pull back, and what they want to do is just make sure they do not get surrounded. And actually look at that, Sen, a little wary to engage. 3 Zealots will burn through Zerglings, especially if the Zealots can pin themselves and back themselves against the wall, and this makes it so that they don't get surrounded and don't take nearly as much damage. Now it looks like we are seeing Sen try to break down these rocks, getting ready to move into that 3rd expansion, and the Zealots should be heading back home nice and safely. We do have an expansion right now for MC coming through, and I am managing to catch those Zealots a little bit out of position, allowing them to get that surround and actually microing back those Zerglings with low health. Very nice. The Zealots did a little bit of damage, but not quite enough. If we take a look at that unit loss tab, yes, MC is indeed behind right now. So very nice play there by Sen, catching those Zealots out of position on their way back home, managing to take them out without taking very heavy losses. Again, microing back any of those Zerglings that were just about to be on the brink of death. Sen right now with that missing about a third of the HP there on that hatch just from that tiny bit of Zealot harass. You see how much damage 3 Zealots can do? It's pretty absurd. And we do have an evolution chamber coming on through, and Sen likely will be moving into his third now that he knows firmly that this expansion is up here for MC. So MC, of course, sitting sentry heavy right now, looks to have 3 gateways. Does he have? No. Twilight Council this time. I was going to say, is he going for his patented open Stargate, Phoenix, and or Void Ray harass? But no, he will be going with this very, very early Twilight Council. Also a Forge coming on through. And that Nexus is complete right now, so he can start to work to saturate that. Again, loving the use of Zerglings. Use this, do this tactic if you don't every game. Send a Zergling somewhere outside of your opponent's base that is along a likely attack path. And this will let you see early aggression and also allow you to do what Sen's doing here, which is known as secondary scouting, confirming did that expansion actually finish or did he cancel it? Is he going for a push? Can I spot any tech, such as a Dark Shrine? MC coming out with the DT. And we will have to wait and see if Sen will be prepared for this. He does have the evolution chamber up, so he can drop those spore crawlers. No layer at the moment, though, and we can see that Roach Warren almost finished right now as well. Bunch of Speedlings moving across the map. Don't expect them to do much except try to harass a little bit. There are quite a few sentries here, and this will be pretty much more than enough to deal with that small amount of Zerglings. We do have this Photon Cannon coming on through, and that will help a little bit against dealing with that Zergling harass. Also, just in case he happened to see Burrow Roaches, that will help with that as well. And there we go, the Forge, no upgrades yet, just placed there for that cannon for the moment, although we do expect the level 1 upgrades to come through sometime soon. Here we go, expansion halfway done right now over here for Sen. Sen pumping out a few roaches. He's got the level 1 melee upgrades coming through and finally working his way up into that layer right now. And the Zerglings, again, just dancing around, just scouting. He is just checking around, seeing, hey, what is MC doing? We do have these two Dark Templar just getting warped in right now. Level 1 upgrade starting at the same time, and I'm really not certain at this point if Sen's going to be prepared for this. There, he does have a Spore Crawler over there and over there, so actually, wow, Sen should be okay. So unfortunately for MC, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do too much damage. We're dropping 2 pylons over here, and this will again prevent Zerglings from running up the rear here and trying to harass from that angle. But here we go, the 2 DT. Maybe they can try to stick away from that Spore Crawler, or if he can drop it very quickly, those Dark Templar will take it out incredibly fast, though. Trying to go for it, but no, forced to push back because of those Zerglings, and it looks like they might get surrounded. So a little bit of maneuvering right now, but those DT getting surrounded, still within the cloak detection range of that Spore Crawler, and there you go. That's pretty much wasted resources there. MC really did nothing in that engagement. Unfortunately, I guess he wasn't aware that Sen was going to be so very well prepared for the possibility of those DT. I think the other thing, too, is that, Sen dealing with so much air harass for those first 2 games may have even gotten those Spore Crawlers to possibly deal with any Phoenixes that may have eventually came out. And as a result of that, he ended up also being prepared for Dark Templar. So there you go. Now we do have another Dark Templar coming in, and there we go. That's sitting right there. I don't know how much expansion harass he expects to do. Maybe just be using it for scouting and cleaning up the middle of the map, and it looks like that's exactly what he's doing. We'll be attack moving it across the middle of the map and one-shotting some Zerglings, and then just, again, doing a little bit of scouting. Has he actually scouted out this expansion yet? Yes, he does. He scouted out the creep there, so now he knows the expansion's there. First checking in that position. Unfortunately, though, he won't be able to do much. We do also have that Overseer in place, and now Sen can protect his ground forces with that. Few Stalkers, we have Blink as well, and obviously those Blink Stalkers very, very effective with some proper micro. Level 2 upgrades coming out here for MC. Let's see if the DT can do anything. No, forced to push back. He does have 3 kills, but the Overseer in hot pursuit. Zergling's trying to find it and actually missing the path. The DT moving up north, realizing that Sen was likely to check that southern position first, but no, the DT gets spotted. So see you later. Observer Scout sitting in the middle over there. One Overlord spreading creep here at the possible expansion for MC, delaying that just a little bit. Right now, MC is going to have to wait for that creep to actually recede before he can drop his expansion over there. So that's a little unfortunate. We have a changeling moving across the map. I wonder if MC is going to realize that this is coming through. So here's the changeling. Did you see it? Oh, MC not spotting the changeling. Changeling will be scouting out and seeing when and if that third gets dropped. I wonder he could delay this third if he moves over there. We do have a push coming out right now for MC. MC is getting close to surrounded, but there's some nice force fields, making a full wall off. We've got a couple of Banelings trying to move forward to drop. We realize we do have Blink Stalkers here and some more force fields to help deal with that. So unfortunately, Sen not able, but the force field dissipate. He's got a great opportunity, but wow, still energy for force fields. Jeez, I'm crow. Force fields, he's just laying him down non-stop. We saw 3 huge force field walls back to back to back there from MC, just completely denying Sen. And now that he is out of energy, MC says time to head back home. No reason to risk it. No reason to risk it at all. Changeling still chilling out over here. He hasn't moved down to check this expansion, surprisingly enough. MC still dancing around the middle, maybe comfortable with just those Blink Stalkers, even though he doesn't really have much more force field energy left on those sentries. Sen getting ready to push. He just needs to make sure that he defends his high yield, because losing this would be a problem. Blink Stalker coming from the backside over there. Zerglin trying to get us around. There was some nice force field action, but here we go. A couple Banelings should be getting dropped right on top. The Stalker's forced to blink back. Zergling's pushing him back right now, not looking to pursue them at the moment though, so Sen will be retreating. A few more Banelings coming out. This expansion right now for MC just about finished. We also have this 4th coming out over here for Sen, but the good thing for Sen is he hasn't lost this yet, and he's still been mining here, so he's been doing a decent job at least of defending it, even just a little bit. Zergling's trying to do a bit of damage. Stalker's blinking back though whenever they get anywhere near low health, so doing a very, very nice job there, MC, with that very solid blink micro indeed. Transitions here, we do have an infestation pit out, and we should be seeing, yes, the pathogen glands are in, so he will be able to actually get those fungal growths much earlier with those infestors. You can see immediately popping. He can drop those fungal growths in any moment he needs. We do have this saturation at this expansion going down right now. Very, very Blink Stalker heavy, and this is actually very good, though, for Sen, because if he can land those fungal growths, then he'll be in a solid position. The major concern, of course, though, is actually, wow, we are seeing a little bit of action right now. Sen will be moving on down. He will be trying to drop, and that's not going to work at all. Realizing that this was coming, MC just pulled back all of his workers, and he might still be able to do it, though, getting a few Banelings down, killing off a few of those Stalkers. I don't know if that was worth it economically, but he did get a few of those Stalkers. Those Speedlings right now will be forced to head back home, and we have a DT moving down, and he could do some damage here to this expansion. Right now, Sen does not have any cloak detection over here. I'm not sure if he still has an Overseer. Yes, he does still have an Overseer, but it's not here right now, so this DT already with 2 kills. Here comes the Overseer, though, and a couple Speedlings, and see you later. DT trying to get a few more kills before he loses his life, and there you go. So very, very nice back and forth action so far in this game between these two players. We've got an Archon coming on through. I wonder, that must have been 2 DT. I don't think we have High Templar coming out. No, we do not. So that's just 2 Dark Templar morphing themselves into an Archon there. And it looks like we will be seeing a push right now from Sen. Sen loving these Baneling drops in this matchup, especially against what MC's been throwing at him. And those few Infestors. Now, he just has to worry with these Infestors about Blink Stalkers getting right on top of them and just sniping them down. He just needs to make sure he keeps them tucked away and nice and safe, and is able to drop those fungal growth before those Blink Stalkers get within range. And here we go. MC could be in trouble right now. He might be losing this expansion, pushing down with all of his Blink Stalkers and some Archons. Got a lot of Zealots here, but there are the fungal growths right now. Losing one Infestor, able to drop those Banelings though because of those fungal growths. I think it might have been worth it. The Speedlings and Roaches mopping up the rest of those Zealots. We do have quite a few more Blink Stalkers, and actually right now it looks like Sen will be pushing back, but still he took out that expansion, which is absolutely huge, and he should force that cancellation. There we go. Sen looking pretty good right now. Got a few more Infestors. He could drop another fungal growth and try to root those guys in place. Not within range yet, though. The Stalkers blinking and pushing back, and Sen just keeping up this aggression. And MC might be losing this expansion. This is looking very, very bad for MC. He's got a few more Blink Stalkers, but there are a ton of Roaches here. A couple DT coming into play, though, and MC just calling the GG. MC opened up this game with a 1-gate expand into a 3-gate, and in response to seeing that, much as he did last game, we saw Sen go with a quick third at the high yield. MC attempted some early game DT harass, however this was something that Sen was more than prepared for. Sitting with Spine Crawlers at all of his bases allowed him to deal with this no problem. We're going to see him swoop on up with some Zerglings and Roaches, and see you later DT. MC pushed out, attempting to take out Sen's high yield expansion. Now Sen did have quite a large force, however though, MC was able to, with heavy sentry forces, just lay down quite a few force field walls, and much to the dismay here of Sen, because had Sen gotten up within range of those guys, he probably would have torn right through them. So although MC didn't take out that expansion, he did protect his units in that engagement. MC continued to try to snipe Sen's high yield expansion, however Sen was able to properly defend himself, and this definitely helped him this game. After defending his high yield, Sen pushed out with the third of MC in his crosshairs, and with this push, lots of banelings mounted up in those overlords, plus those infestors and pretty roach heavy. He was able to snipe down MC's third expansion, and then after that, we're going to see some nice fungal growths with the baneling dropping right on the main force. That was very devastating for MC, and although MC held on for a little while longer, he wasn't able to deal with the consistent reinforcements from Sen, and ended up calling the GG. Alright guys, so that was game number 3 here in this best of 5 between Sen and MC. Right now Sen is ahead 2-1. We will be moving on to game number 4 in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.